Hello, hello! Future Ben here, and I have a major channel announcement. This coming Saturday, March 11th at noon Eastern Time, I'll be hosting my 100th episode. That is huge. When I first started this channel, I never thought I would make it here. I hoped, but I never actually thought it would follow through for this many years. And I am so thrilled to share it with you. This will be a live event. I'm bringing on a panel of other Authortubers, and we'll be discussing how video games shaped us into the writers we are today, what lessons we can learn from other mediums to tell stories. Along with that, I'll be playing my favorite video game to show how it gives such an incredible hook, and how in such a short amount of time, we have a full understanding for who the characters are, where they can grow to be, and the various conflicts involved. It's going to be an incredible party. I am thrilled to share it with you, and I'm so excited for how many of you have supported me for these past almost 2 years. This is going to be a fun day for me, and I hope it will be for you, so I genuinely would love to see you there. Saturday, March 11th, noon Eastern Time, and now on to my regularly scheduled episode. Enjoy and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Hello, hello! I am Ben Pick, and thank you for joining me in Running to Write, where I give questionable writing advice through running metaphors. I'm planning to run the Cherry Blossom 10-mile race this year, which is a race I did last year as well, and my goal is to do better than I did back in 2022. To do that, I'm going to be shifting up my training schedule with actual short-term and long-term goals with metrics, and I'm going to be incorporating in a bunch of different workouts rather than just running long distances, which is what I did last year to train without much consideration towards getting faster. In theory, this means I'm hoping for a better time during the race, though I don't know if that's feasible. If nothing else, this will be a nice change from my regular running schedule. Much like running, I have aspirations to write a book this year. That's something I haven't done before, and that's taken me multiple years to write a first draft, and then many more to edit that same book. To meet that goal, I'm going to have to work to improve my word output in terms of both consistency and words per minute. Here are the tips I plan to use to improve my words per minute, which is something I've used before when working under a deadline. The difference now is that it's something I plan to carry through for the entire year. Number 1, create a writing sanctuary. Set aside a place where you feel comfortable. For me, that's the basement with the door closed to limit distractions. Do what works best for you so you can write as best you can, whether that is listening to instrumental music or writing in silence, versus writing at a desk or writing on the couch. More than a place, define a writing time. Explicitly set aside X number of minutes to write. During that time, don't outline, edit, or honestly read what's already been written. That can best be done during other sprints. My best method to get sufficient words on the page and hit my targets is to write those words on the page. Whenever I fail, it's because I've taken time to review what I've written, judge it, and try and course correct. Mentally planning to only write gets my mind ready to do that and only that. I'll talk about those other supportive tasks in a minute. Number 2, prepare. I am a heavy outliner, which means I generate pages and pages of outlines before I write the first word. Even if you're a pantser, it may still help to write your ending so that way you know what moving target you're trying to hit. For me, having a clear definition of what should be written allows me to get the most of that time, which I devote to writing. Number 3, metrics. During my runs, I use a GPS watch to track my miles per hour and the overall amount of time it took me to complete the run. This can show me whether or not I sped up or slowed down during troublesome areas. There's a long hill which I tend to push myself on for the first third. This makes my speed go from faster than average to much, much slower. I track my total words written during a writing session so that way I can calculate my average for words per hour. Though I rarely write for an hour non-stop, I can calculate an idealized version of what I'd be able to achieve if I were able to write consistently at that faster pace. Though in actuality, my words written over a real hour will be much slower because that average pace is calculated off of a shorter time distance. I'm going to channel Richard Holiday here and recommend that we record our metrics in a spreadsheet. Some of the metrics I'll be including are the time spent writing, the time of day, the type of writing, whether that's actual writing, editing, outlining, writing scripts, etc., how I'm feeling, and plenty of other metrics that I don't know right now, but I'm sure I'll add in throughout the year. Number 4, build stamina. Practice. Write slower, but go for longer periods. Maybe my writing sprints are 30 minutes long and I get in 500 words. Well, I will practice by increasing and adding on a few extra minutes, so maybe 5 extra minutes, but I'll try and still write 500 words. Or in that case, probably 550 words or something, where I want to gradually increase the amount of time that I'm writing for, and yet still keep my expectations for word output slightly lower, at least initially. Once we're comfortable writing at that slower speed for a longer period, we steadily take away that time so that way we can force ourselves to learn to write faster. In a similar way with running to improve my long distance times, I'm going to be incorporating in moments during my regular runs where I'm going at a faster pace, whether that is sprinting for 1 minute in every 10, or doing ladders, or running up a hill that I normally just regularly jog at. All that together will improve my stamina so that way I'm able to do more with the same amount of distance. Number 3, adjust. Learn what works best for you, whether that is writing for 3 sprints of 20 minutes or for 1 sprint at an hour long nonstop. Do you write better when it's the first thing in the morning or the last thing you do before going to bed? My ideal Saturday begins with a long run followed by a shower and breakfast, and then I do 2 or 3 writing sprints for 30 minutes each. That makes me feel like I've achieved my mental and physical goals for both running and writing. When I run in the afternoon or write late at night, I feel much slower and less productive. I may be going at the same pace, but it feels much more difficult to achieve. Number 6, other tasks. Build in extra time for supporting yourself by doing outlining, editing, whatever else you need. For me, I start off each pre-sprint by reading what I already wrote and editing as I go. This allows me to jump back into my story, revise it, and get back into my previous mindset to know where to take it next. I'll revise sentences where I missed my own point, introduce plot holes, or had the wrong character acting a certain way that should have been done by somebody else. I'll try to avoid grammar changes during these edits, as this is only first draft, and it will largely be changed later, so doing any type of grammar fixes will be a waste of time, at least at this point. These pre-sprints are when I make changes to my outline, study what's coming next, and prepare for the upcoming writing sprint. And lastly, number 7, pat yourself on the back. Build in rewards for ourselves as we achieve our goals. Maybe if I'm able to write every day for a week at my average words per hour pace or faster, I buy myself a treat. Maybe if I set a new record for words per hour, I give myself a rest day. Maybe if I can write a full 90,000 word draft by May, I'll buy myself a video game. Whatever the end reward is, make sure it's something worthwhile so we push ourselves to achieve our goals and don't get discouraged halfway through. On that note, don't be too disappointed if we set aside time to write and we stare at a blank page. By following through with these repeated and continual practices, that becomes less likely, but it still isn't a zero possibility. It's also difficult to write when you're sick or need to take time off for vacation or something along those lines, and life gets in the way, but by aiming to write continually and by tracking our metrics, we can see and adjust our time to meet our own goals. For instance, today I'm feeling pretty sick and I have no idea how well I'll write this afternoon. By setting up a continual process of writing, it makes it more likely to get those words down and improve our overall pace, but I'm not a machine and we all have bad days. So I won't beat myself up if I slip in my goals, both short and long term. Those are my tips to improving our overall word counts and the pace at which we write. I am Ben Pick, and thank you for joining me in Running to Write. If you enjoy my thoughts on writing more with the same amount of time, then please press those like and subscribe buttons. I post my running and writing progress on Instagram and Twitter as Running to Write. Be sure to follow me and join in with your own thoughts. Don't forget to sign up for the Running to Write monthly newsletter for regular updates on my sort of musings, pitfalls, and lessons learned. The link is in the description below. Coming soon to my newsletter in 2023, I'll be sending out links to my outtakes of these videos. These include me swearing at the camera, stammering, and all kinds of other mistakes that make the polished episodes that I upload, well, they bring a new twist to them to show you how flawed the making of actually is. These outtakes have already been sent out to those who support me on Ko-fi in case you want to get them as soon as possible. See you next time. Until then, let's improve our writing power. By that, I mean our average words per hour.